Hey chess lovers, welcome back to the Chessyard. This is Dhere Baga, and here's a quick update. I just completed a 100-day streak on chess.com. So yeah, consistency is the key, and I don't know how important it is to make sure that you're playing everyday chess as well. Sometimes there's a burnout as well, but yeah. So I have been just focusing on two things: blitz and puzzles. In the last 90 days, my rating, which was in the beginning at 1862, in between fell to 1754, again went up to 1920s, 1780. So if you see, there are huge variations in my ratings, and that generally happens because there are some bad days at work, but you still want to continue playing chess, and yeah, whatever your sleep pattern is, you continue playing. I'm just that kind of person. So yeah, but overall today I have reached 1950 plus again, and yeah, for the longest time I think I'm also stuck at this level. But yeah, that's not a easy level to be at as well. If you see the percentile, it's a 99.3 percentile, global rank of 1 lakh 7,000. So yeah, doing good at my chess so far, I guess. Not that bad. And yeah, I would like to show you one of the games that I played today as well. So I'll show you the game where I played and reached the 1950 plus level again. So yeah, I was playing as white here, probably. One second, I'll just quickly go back. I was playing as black. Okay. Yeah. So I start off with the opponent starts off with e4. I go with c6. D4 opponent. I play d5. Opponent plays f3, just trying to make sure that the center is solid. If I take, opponent can take back, and then opponent has two strong center pawns. So I baited my opponent. I went with knight f6 so that my opponent plays pawn forward. I just brought it back. Opponent tries to now gain space further, supporting the central pawn. Now I played h5. My idea was, in future, I can plant my bishop as well if my opponent responds with h4. Opponent develops the knight. I just move my bishop, pinning the knight straight away, so that my bishop is out of this diagonal before I close by playing e6. Opponent tries to kick my bishop back. I thought, okay, let's trade. Opponent takes back with the queen. Now I play e6. So again, solidifying the center. Now I need to develop my knights and the bishop and the queen, and then castle one of the sides. That's how generally a game of chess would proceed. Opponent plays bishop onto d3. I went with knight e7. The idea was maybe to plant my knight overall onto f5. I can play pawn to g6. If I just straight away play g6, there are cases when people sacrifice, and then a pawn storm can come in, and my king is not safe as well. So I just wanted to move my knight first. Opponent castles, and when that happens and you have traded off the knight, which means the battery of rook and queen is going to attack onto f7 shortly. So I just played g6 first. Opponent starts playing g4, now again trying to open up uh, the files whatever they can. I take here, opponent takes back. So of course now f5 is on the cards. I placed my queen to b6. The idea was to attack. Let's say the bishop moves, so I can take on to b2, or I can just take on to d4. That was the plan. Opponent plays pawn forward, solidifying the center. I pushed the pawn forward. I wanted to break the center because I am being attacked on one side of the board. Opponent pushes the pawn forward, so I have to take here. Now of course, if I take with the e pawn, I suddenly lose the d pawn as well. So I took with the g pawn. Opponent takes back. Now if you see, in this process of attacking me, opponent has weakened up the king as well, because there are no pawns to support the king. So yeah, that's a weak area. So now I take on the pawn in the center. So my idea was, if the opponent takes, I can still take back another pawn, because it will be a discovered check to the opponent, right? Opponent takes and I take back. So now it's a discovered check. Queen is in a good position. Opponent now puts bishop ahead in between. Of course, I cannot take. I can take here, right? But then I'll be walking into queen takes on f7, and suddenly, things are under pressure. So I thought, okay, let's take the central pawn with the queen. So I took the pawn on e6. Opponent takes my pawn with the knight. Here I was just contemplating on the fact that, can I push pawn forward somehow? So what do I need to push the pawn forward? So it was probably knight. That knight can come onto c6, and then I can attack the central pawn. I can push the pawn forward. But yeah, I was feeling the pressure as well, because a battery is lined up. If you see, the bishops are also ready to come into the situation from both the sides, in fact. So I went with knight to d7 instead. So I thought, okay, let me just grab this central pawn, and then that creates pressure on the opponent on bishop and queen. So opponent moves the bishop straight away, pinning the knight so that I can't move the knight. So I castled. Now, this was just to make sure that opponent doesn't suddenly take on to f7 and I get into trouble. So far so good, but again this pawn is weak now, and there are two pieces attacking it. But I have my knight being freed up now because it was pinned. So opponent here takes on to a7 with the bishop, which also controls the b8 square now. So anything of, let's say, rook coming in can be devastating for me, to say the least. So I thought, okay, let me just take the pawn first, for which I had moved the knight, removing the dependency, and there's no threats of bishop coming here. Opponent plays queen to f4, maybe with the idea of rotating the queen. So I just gave a check first, because the king was weak open. Opponent moves the king, and here again, I was just thinking, okay, if I am able to fork, that would be great. The only problem is that the bishop is holding back. What else can be done? I cannot give a check with the rook because queens go backwards as well. Uh, so yeah, I thought, okay, I need to distract this bishop. So if I move the other knight and he takes, then I need not take back the bishop, but I can just give a fork. So that was the thought process at that point in time. And it's a 3 minute game, so that's all I can think of. So I just moved my knight, which connects both my knights as well. So of course this knight is also not hanging. uh, Opponent doesn't take. So opponent of course calculated that, probably that took around 9 seconds to play this move, which attacks my rook. So I have to save my rook. Is there anything else that I can do? Probably I was not sure of. So I thought, okay, let me just do one thing: attack the queen, which also connects both my rooks. And of course, because the queen is under attack, queen will have to move. So yeah, the queen swings over to a4, which now leaves this king with kind of no defenders, right? So I thought, okay, now is the time to jump in with the situation, and let's go with the knight. So knight goes to g4 instead, attacks the king. If the king moves on to g file, of course this cover attack would come, so I can just go with knight anywhere and then grab onto the rook. So opponent goes in the center. Now, how do I get more pieces into attack? Because that's the fundamental way of attacking. Initially, I had a thought of moving my queen as well. Suddenly, I realized, okay, I can just hang my queen out for no reason. So I thought, okay, let's get more pieces into play. I can, of course, move my rook from d8 to e8 as well, but I went with rook h to e8. The idea again, getting more pieces into the play. Opponent moves the king, and which allows me to give a fork. So I give a check. That's a fork as well. I love knights. So opponent now can just take it back, right, with the bishop. So opponent does take. Now I can take with the bishop, or I can take with the rook. So I thought, okay, let's go with the rook. Now opponent can take my knight. I think that happened in the game as well. Yes, opponent takes. Now I can again take with my queen. We can trade off the queens. But I thought, why? Do I have anything better? And just not take a piece which is available. So I moved the queen and gave a check onto d3, coming close, narrowing down onto the king, which is not well protected for now. And the only square right now is king to c1. The opponent moves the king to c1, and now comes mate. So I found this mate fancy as well. So giving a check and a discover attack as well in parallel. So yeah, I think it was cool at that point in time, and yeah, I enjoyed this game. So overall, yes, decent game, I would say. Not that great as well, but if I just open up the review, I think it was 80% plus kind of a game with the accuracy. Generally, that's the kind of an average that I go ahead with. I'll just move it second. Yes, it was 81%, and yeah, 2150 level as per the computer as well. There's only one place where computer thought that I have shifted the momentum completely back by placing the giving the check with the knight. The computer actually wants me to play bishop to e2, and I have no clue. And I'll be lying if I know that okay, that was a fancy move that I could have found at that moment. Not at all. So yeah, I think overall as a human, this game was good, and I hope you enjoyed it. Something to learn from it, and I shall see you sometime later. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.